Magandang umaga sa lahat ng ating viewers ngayong araw. Ako po si Danaong, ang inyong host tayo sa araw na ito. Ngayong araw ay may panibago na naman po tayong Facebook Live session upang lalo pang mapalalim ang kaalaman ng ating viewers tungkol sa proper care and development ng mga batang may edad 0 to 4. Kahapon po ay naitampok namin si Teacher Beth Santos at naibahagi niya sa atin kung ano ba talaga ang ibig sabihin ng positive parenting. Dahil sa kanya ay na-realize kong hindi lang pala disiplina ang cover nito, kung hindi ang buong approach natin sa pagmamagulang at pagpapalaki ng mga bata. Nabanggit din niya na ang parenting ay hindi lamang para sa mga magulang. Kasalo din dito sila tito, tita, ate, kuya, lolo at lola. At nag-share din siya ng 12 C's o mga techniques kung paano gawin ang positive parenting approach. Medyo madami po ito, pero pwede niyo pong panoorin ulit ang video sa aming Facebook page o tignan ang comment section para makita niyo rin po. At syempre, naibahagi din sa atin ang effects ng positive parenting hindi lamang para sa bata, kung hindi pati na din sa mga magulang. Ito pala ay nakakatulong sa maayos na paglaki ng mga bata at syempre sa lessened stress levels ng mga magulang dahil dito. So, ayan, ang dami na namang napag-usapan kahapon. Pero syempre, hindi po nagtatapos ang lahat doon. Dahil sa araw na ito ay may bago na naman tayong topic at ito ay tungkol sa pag-handle ng parental stress. So, sa mga magulang dyan, kung kayo po ay stress ngayon, para po sa inyo ang ating Facebook Live session. Sabi nga kahapon, sa pagiging magulang, laging may good days and bad days. Kapag dumating ang bad days, paano ba natin tutugunan ito? Para sagutin ang ating mga katanungan, tayo ay nag-imbita ng isang educator and behaviorist na makakapagbahagi sa atin kung ano nga ba ang parental stress at kung paano ito haharapin. With 17 years of experience sa pagiging classroom teacher, case manager, consultant, team head at researcher, paniguradong madami na naman tayong matututunan ngayong araw. Kaya wag na natin patagalin pa, let's all welcome Mr. Julius J.B. Bernal o mas kilala bilang Teacher JB. Magandang umaga, Teacher JB.
Good morning.
Good morning. Ayan, so Teacher JB, I'm sure excited ng ating viewers na makilala ka palalo. Given the 17 years of background experience, baka pwede niyong ma-share sa ating viewers ang iba pa ninyong experiences.
Okay. I have a background in psychology, and then I was exposed to special children in practice, since I also have a background in education. Now, as an educator, I am more of managing students' behaviors, parent coaching, since when we intervene with a family, we don't just intervene with the child. We also intervene with the parents, the extended family members, because we need to look into the family dynamics and the culture inside the family to determine issues, concerns, and to manage them.
Ayan, so nabanggit ni Teacher JB na meron siyang background when it comes to family dynamics. So sobrang sakto talaga ng ating topic ngayong araw. So let's just dive in right into the topic, Teacher JB. So for the past year, almost 2 years na nga, ang ating mga magulang ay under a lot of pressure and stress because aside from working, sila rin ngayon ay nagtuturo at nag-i-implement ng mga dapat ginagawa ng teachers sa face-to-face classes. Pero syempre, dahil tayo ay nasa pandemic pa din, hindi sila pa din ang may hawak ng mga responsibilidad na ito. At dahil dyan, puntahan na natin ano nga ba ang parental stress at paano nga ba natin masasabi na ang isang magulang ay talagang stressed out na? Ayan, I'm sure everybody wants to know.
Agree ako sa iyo, Dana, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it has put a lot of pressure and stress on parents. Kasi nga, it's not just working from home, but there were also changes in the platform for learning. They are now forced to deliver the lessons at home, and most parents are not really ready for this. They are not equipped. Hence, they also need to learn alongside teachers as to how we conduct remote learning. For our discussion, I'd like to contextualize it first. Ano ba yung stress?
Okay.
Sabi ng mga libro, stress is a biological and a psychological response experience when we encounter a threat or a stressors when we feel that we do not have control of or we do not have the resources to deal with it. So yun yung stress. Pag merong nangyayaring nakakatakot na sa tingin natin, hindi natin alam kung ano yung gagawin or wala tayong resources to respond to it. Now, biologically or physiologically, meron tayong tinatawag na stress response. This is a physiological reaction that occurs if something is mentally and physically stressful. Now, a stressful situation triggers a cascade of hormones wherein it produces a well-orchestrated physiological changes. Like, for example, kinakabahan ka. Or there's quick breathing, there's tense muscles, or beads of sweat happening. And because of this, nagkakaroon tayo ng combination of reaction. It's known as the fight or flight reaction. I'm sure a lot of us, a lot of the viewers have experienced stress. And a lot of times, if we have problems or stressors, either we fight it or we avoid or flight it. So with that context, because of the changes, because of the impact of the pandemic, a lot of parents are now stressed. And I'm very grateful to be invited in this forum because I really think that the mental health of parents are undervalued. Masyado kasi tayong nagpo-focus sa mga bata na anong gagawin natin sa mga bata, paano natin sila matulungan. Ang nakakalimutan natin na dapat pagtuunan ng pansin ang mga magulang. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na emotional contagion. Kung papaano ang ugali or behavior ng isang magulang na mirror or nare-reflect natin yun sa bata. Kung si mommy ay stress na, automatic yon. You mirror your stressful behaviors to your child. And that's not good. That's not good because nangyayari, for example, halimbawa, si mommy na-frustrate kasi nga, ang dali-dali lang naman ito, ba't hindi mo makuha or ba't hindi mo magawa or matapos? So because of these feelings of frustration, unknowingly, the mom mirrors it to the child. And I'm sure maraming guilty yan. Ang ending, nagsisigawan na ang magulang at ang bata. And it's no longer healthy. So I think that it's very important that we need to be aware of how we are feeling. That is always the first step to understanding ourselves and our stressors. Kasi importante that it is brought to our awareness, our emotions, and how we're feeling. Because in that way, we determine if we are stressed or not.
Okay. Teacher JB, balikan ko yung sinasabi ninyo na kailangan alamin natin yung emotions natin. We're attuned to it, no? Na alam natin ano yung feelings natin. Ibabalik ko dun sa discussion last time kay Teacher Beth. Sinabi din niya yon, pero sa mga bata na kailangan hinahayaan silang ma-feel ang feelings nila. So ngayon, sinasabi niyo din po, para din pala ito sa mga magulang na when we feel angry or frustrated, kailangan we're aware of it. Actually, medyo natawa kanina kasi kanina before this session, na medyo nasigawan ko din yung anak ko kasi ako nga din yung nagtuturo sa kanya. And at the end of the day, double yung frustration kasi galit ako sa kanya. Well, nainis ako sa kanya, hindi ako galit sa kanya. Tapos, pagkatapos ko magalit, galit din ako sa sarili ko. So, parang nagpa-pile up siya. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents are experiencing that every day. Okay,
Yes.
so...
That is true. If I may respond to that, meron po kaming tinatawag na social-emotional learning.
Okay.
This does not only apply to children, but also it applies to adults. Pag sinabi mo kasing social-emotional learning, meron niyang 5 stages. This is when we learn to be aware of ourselves, our emotions. Ano ba yung strengths ko? Ano yung weaknesses ko? Because only when you have good awareness of yourself and how you're feeling, you're able to manage your stressors. Keeping in mind, there is what we call as well the social awareness. Ano bang expected and unexpected behavior of society? Kasi nga, pag wala kang self-awareness, wala kang social awareness, pag wala kang self-management, then you won't be able to I'm thinking of a better word. Nurture. You won't be able to nurture your relationships with your children, with your family members, or with your husband. Because keeping in mind that self-awareness, self-management, social awareness skills, and then relationship skills, we make that responsible decision-making. Na-stress ako, teka, ano bang gagawin ko? Ano bang expected sa akin as a mommy? Ano ba ang magandang response that I am able to nurture my relationship with my child? That's when you make that responsible decision making. I always tell the parents, stressors, kinakain natin yan every day. Yes. Nandyan yan. Ang importante is how aware are we in terms of how the stress is impacting our body. Kasi it affects us physiologically. At the same time, it also affects the people around us. Now, keeping in mind what's expected and unexpected of society, how am I going to respond? And I'm using the word respond because most of us, we are reactive. We just react to the situation without thinking, how will he feel? Anong mararamdaman ng anak ko pag ito yung ginawa ko, pag sinigawan ko, pinagalitan ko? That's why the last step is always a responsible decision-making. Keeping in mind all parameters, not just yourself, but also the people surrounding you.
Okay, so ang gandang points mo na, no, Teacher JB, na actually hindi lang relationship sa anak, kundi pati na rin sa asawa, sa mga kasama sa bahay. Minsan nga pati sa mga kaibigan. Okay, it's really a big factor.
Kasi when you talk about stress, it does not only pertain to yourself. But definitely, it will always have an impact of those surrounding you. That's why if I have a learning session with my student, I just don't pay attention to the emotions or to the behavior of my student, but also I pay attention to the emotions of the caregiver, the parent, because there's always that emotional connection, emotional attunement, emotional regulation and co-regulation, which is important for both parties, the child and the parent, to have a nurturing, loving, and adaptive relationship.
Ayan. Okay, so sa lahat ng ating parents ngayong araw, hindi ito madaling ma-identify kasi minsan since we get it every day, akala natin, natural lang to, araw-araw naman ganito. Pero kailangan aware tayo palagi para, di ba, hindi siya naiipon, Teacher JB, kasi mahirap kapag naiipon, bigla na lang, di ba, minsan bigla na lang doon siya, at the end of the day, bigla ka na lang na-frustrate and everyone gets nagugulat na anong nangyari kay mommy or anong nangyari kay daddy. Okay.
If I may,
yes,
sorry,
yes,
if I may add to that, That's why when I coach parents, I always suggest to do some reflective
Mm.
parenting practices at the end of the
Oo.
day.
That's
Kasi importante na we look back. Ano bang nangyari ngayong araw? Ano bang naramdaman ko? Anong ginawa ko with my child? Ano yung tama doon? Ano yung pwede kong baguhin? Kasi importante na meron tayong reflective practices. Only then when we are more aware, ay, mali pala yung nagawa ko kasi ganito yung naging consequence or effect sa bata or effect sa relationship ko with a child, with my partner, or with other family members. So, the first step is always self-awareness. Kasi nga tama ka dun na parang ang daming nangyayari. You're working from home, you are a wife, you are a breadwinner, you're also a teacher, so many things happening. But yun yung nakakaligtaan ng karamihan ng magulang. To pause, wonder, and think, how can I be better? Madaling sabihin, pero actually mahirap itong gawin. Especially na hindi kasi natin yun habit eh. Hindi natin nagiging habit. But I always advocate for this. It's very important to help us recharge and be better. It's very important for our mental health to pause, wonder, how can I make it better?
Okay, so ayan, tandaan po natin, pause, wonder, and think. Teacher JP, dagdag ko na lang, kapag ba tayo ay nag-pause, wonder, and think, kailangan po ba tayo lang o pwede din po ba tayo makipag-usap sa ating asawa or sa iba pang mga kapamilya natin?
Whatever is convenient or comfortable for you. You can do your reflection on your own. You can do your reflection with someone to help you out in terms of processing the experience. Kasi sinasabi nga nila, a butterfly cannot see its own color. Sometimes you need someone to point it out to you. In one of my studies, I actually came out with a module for teachers. And that's one activity to, find some time at the end of the day, kahit 5-10 minutes lang. Hindi naman kailangan isang oras. At least lang just find a comfortable space in your home wherein it's quiet. Kasi nakakatulong din yun para sa'yo to recharge. It's not the quantity but the quality of time you spend alone to really think and wonder. And sometimes if that does not work for you, if meditation does not work for you, or mindful thinking, mindful breathing will not work for you, then you can get a partner like your husband who can help you out in terms of understanding the scenario. Kasi yun nga, sometimes iba rin pag perspective ng ibang tao. Some parents will tell me, JB, kasalanan ko kasi ganito, ganyan. But when you process, naku, mommy, you're too hard naman on yourself. A lot of parents can be like that. They're too hard on yourself. So it's our role and responsibility as professional to remind them to be kinder to yourself. If you want a better mental health, we need to be kinder to ourselves kasi hindi tayo si Wonder Woman. Hindi kailangan perfect. Basta yung importante, we are doing our best for our children and for our family.
Okay. So, ayun Teacher JB, nabanggit mo na yung self-awareness saka reflective parenting. Meron pa po ba tayong ibang mga paraan na pwedeng magawa para ma-lessen yung stress na nararamdaman ng mga magulang every day?
Thank you for that question. It's very important that we highlighted self-awareness. Kasi a lot of times, we are not aware na, ay, may pagkukulang ako. Ay, may mali akong ginawa or sobra akong ginawa. Kasi some parents naman, they are helicopter parents. They want to try everything. It's good that you are aware. Ano yung kulang, ano yung sobra. Kasi the next step there is self-management. Aware ako, eto yung stress ko, eto yung stressor ko, eto yung problema, eto yung na-feel ko. So the next step for parents is to determine ano ba yung solutions to my problem? How can I solve the problem? How can I manage it? In this way, we can decrease the stressors. That's one point. Another point is to look into mindful practices to help us lessen our stress. Marami yan. Marami rin tayong resources online that can help us. One would be mindful breathing or mindful walking, or you can do yoga, or you can just give yourself a break. Simply giving yourself a break, doing what you love to do, can be very helpful. There are actually a variety of activities or exercises that you can do to help you manage your stress or your stressors. It's finding lang what's suitable for you and your experiences. So I like the Greater Good Science from Berkeley in California. They have a website. You can look into that. Ang dami nilang exercises doon. Pili ka na lang kung anong gusto mo. Yung iba, journal writing. Yung iba, mindful walking. Marami. Whatever is suitable to your experience. And to your experiences.
Ayan. Okay. So, we will put na lang sa comment section yung website na sinasabi ni Teacher JB para ma-access din po ng ating viewers. Maganda yung sinabi ni Teacher JB no, na management and mindful practices. And I like that we highlighted yung kung ano yung nababagay para sa'yo. Kasi minsan, especially ngayon sa Facebook, ang daming advice. Diba? Sa
True.
TikTok, sa Facebook, everywhere, ang daming advice. Ito gawin mo, ito gawin mo, ito gawin mo. So, ang ibig sabihin ba nito, Teacher JB, ay pwede natin itry pa isa-isa and then whatever works, we stick to it. Ganun po ba yung ina-explain nyo kanina?
What I'm saying is that you need to individualize it to yourself, to your resources, and to your experiences.
Okay.
For example, gawin ko na lang example yung sarili ko. When I feel stress, what I usually practice is mindful breathing kasi it's easy. Pag mataas yung anxiety levels ko, I apply mindful breathing. Paano ba yung mindful breathing? This is when you inhale 7 counts and exhale 9 counts. You just do that repetitively and focus on your breathing instead of your worries or your thoughts. I don't need a machine. I don't need a space. I don't need yun yung convenient and comfortable na rin ako. Kasi ngayon dahil pandemic, ang taas ng anxiety levels ko din.
Yes.
Halimbawa, I was told na, I was exposed to someone with COVID positive. So talagang ang hirap. And what I do, I'd apply mindful breathing or sometimes I walk. It helps me a lot kasi it takes my mind off the worries. Another would be pray.
Mm-hmm.
I pray the rosary. Kasi there are times when the anxieties are high na you cannot function anymore. And I've been there. It's really hard. Na parang you worry so much for your loved ones or your family members. And you can't do anything kasi, my God, may kasama kaming positive sa bahay. So talagang ang hirap. So hahanap ka ngayon ng ano ba yung pwede kong gawin. Yung iba, they write their thoughts on a journal. That's also helpful. So what I'm saying is that you find the technique that is helpful for you or easier to do given your other responsibilities and your resources.
Alright, so highlight natin what's convenient, what's
Yes.
available. Hindi
Yes.
kailangan na may bilhin pa tayong mga bagay just for
Yes.
us to take care of ourselves. Kasi minsan, di ba, Teacher JB, na papansin mo yung parang kailangan ko mag-order sa Grab food ng
Totoo.
pagkain para I can take care of myself. Tapos makita-kita mo, ang mahal-mahal na nung bill mo. Okay? So,
Totoo.
whatever convenient and whatever is
Yes.
available.
Some of my friends, they do meditation.
Mhm.
Marami sa YouTube. Maraming mga videos that will guide you how to meditate.
Kung
Yung
paano.
iba naman na parents that I work with, yoga works for them. So,
Meron na
whatever.
rin po yun online, ano? Yung ating,
Yes, yes.
yes.
Marami naman tayong resources. It's just finding the right fit for
Mhm.
you.
Okay. And then, Teacher JB, balikan, backtrack ko konti pa. Sa management naman, sinabi nyo kanina, when you're aware of what your needs are, mamamanage mo yung mga kailangan. So, kasali po ba dito, for example, di ba, yung mga nanay, meron silang tendency, hindi naman sa gusto nila, pero parang automatic na, ako nagagawa nito, ako nagagawa nito. Makakatulong ba sa ating parents, mommies, or daddies na mag-delegate ng tasks or ilista yung mga kailangan gawin? Will that help?
The generation of parents nowadays are or came from the generation of students like me before. Nung panahon namin, nung kami ay bata pa or estudyante, nasanay kasi kami na deprived or hindi lahat ng gusto mo nakukuha mo agad. So ang fault ngayon ng mga parents, yung mga estudyante or bata dati, when they became parents, sinasabi nila lagi sa akin, kasi JB, nung bata ko hindi ko nakuha. Kaya ngayon, parent ako, I want to give them everything. So I always tell the parents, I understand where you're coming from because we are of the same generation. We want to provide kasi yun yung thinking nating the right way of parenting. Pero lagi kong ina-advise kasi sa mga parents that I work with, mahirap kapag ganoon. Maybe we should love our children differently. It's very important that we expose our children to real problems. However, not just exposing them to real problems, but provide that time and attention to guide them how to respond to these problems. So our children become resilient and they thrive in the fast-changing society.
Okay. So, siguro, i-connect ko doon sa parental stress topic natin, no, Teacher JB, na sometimes we do everything for them na it
Yes.
actually adds up to our stress. Kasi may mga simpleng bagay. Kaya sa yung mga child development teachers natin, Teacher JB, tinuturuan nila yung parents and yung mga magulang kung paano maging independent as young as toddler age ang ating mga bata sa ating mga localities. So, sa ganong paraan, hindi mo na kailangan na ikaw pa yung magbibihis sa kanila, meron ka pang ibang gagawin. So, parang in a way, nababawasan din kasi yung stress sa ating mga magulang. Kung ihahayaan natin silang gawin yung mga bagay by themselves. Okay?
I agree. I agree. As teachers, for 0 to 4 or 0 to 5,
Yes.
we need to advocate for adaptability and independence. I'm not saying na hayaan na lang natin silang gawin, but there should be graduated guidance.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we need to be mindful of or we need to be reminded. At the start, gag-guide mo muna, tutulungan mo. Pero pag nakita mong nakakayanan na ng bata, gradually, systematically, you fade the assistance. Kasi ayaw mo maging dependent or
Yes.
mag-develop ng learned helplessness ang mga bata.
Okay. Ayan. So, may dagdag na question lang ako, Teacher JB. So
Sure.
far, we've been talking about the self-awareness, and being aware of what we need in order to help ourselves and the people around us. Meron po bang factor din ang ating community? May maitutulong po ba ang ating community sa pag-lessen ng stressors ng ating mga magulang, especially in these trying times?
Of course, in schools or some institutions, there are always support groups. Diba? Or may mga mommy group yan ng class. It's very important that we feel supported. Kasi if you are supported, that now helps the self. So I would like to encourage the community to support each other. Let's try a small scale. Kasi ayaw ko naman mag-suggest ng something na hindi posible. Kahit supporting your friend, listening to her frustration, providing sound advice, that will be very helpful. And I think sometimes kasi some parents, they don't listen to professionals. Mas nakikinig sila sa kaibigan, sa pamilya, kasi sinasabi nila, pareho kami ng pinagdadaanan. So it would be nice if there is that support system. Kasi in terms of stress, mas malaking tulong yon knowing that you have a support system in the community.
Ayan. So, papasok din ba, Teacher JB, kasi ikukwento ka na lang din, sa meron tayong programa na si BPAV ngayon para sa ating, since walang face-to-face classes, yung mga teacher natin, they meet with the parents weekly to talk about the activities that can be done at home. Pwede din po ba nilang pwede din po ba silang maging support group sa ganitong setting ng mga magulang?
I like it that you have that program because that program, kahit pa once a week lang yan,
Yes.
now provides an opportunity for a dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi when you're teaching students online, most of your time, you're teaching the student. But with that in mind, that program or provision for a 1-hour dialogue with the parent, it now gives parents the chance to share with you what their concerns are. Kasi minsan hindi mo naman mapapaliwanag yan sa magulang kasi busy ka sa pagtuturo during the actual session. So I like it and I'm very happy that you have that provision. In that way, parents are given the opportunity to share their success with their children, which is also very important, to be heard, to share their accomplishments. Number 2, they are given the opportunity to share their concerns. And that now provides the professional an opportunity to coach. Maybe, mommy, kaya ganito yung nangyari. The professional now analyzes and explains bakit and provides some sound advice as to what the parent can do. Kasi a lot of times, well, you read it in the books, but the professional needs to break it down for the parent and contextualize it to the dynamics and the culture of the family. Kasi hindi naman laging generic yung advice natin eh. Tinitailor natin yon sa ano ba yung mga relationships sa family, ano ba yung kultura, ano ba yung dynamics, ano ba yung communication levels nila. For us to be effective or for the parents to be effective.
Ayan. So, sa ating mga child development teachers and workers who are watching right now and conducting parent-teacher sessions, so, ang laki ng naitutulong ninyo actually sa mga magulang na kausap ninyo. So, sabi nga ni Teacher JB, nagkakaroon ng isa pang nakikinig sa mga kailangan pakinggan ng ng mga magulang. So, yes, Teacher JP.
If I may add, sometimes, parents engage in these sessions not because they need advice. Parents need a soundboard.
Kailangan nila ng kausap.
Knowing that there's someone who listens. That's why you need to practice your active listening skills. Knowing that there's someone who's listening to me, who's understanding of my experiences, that's more than good enough for the parents. A lot of times, if I have parenting sessions, I don't give advices. I listen to them. And then I ask, what do you think? I elicit the solutions to their problems sa kanila. Kasi dapat masanay din yung mga magulang na, oo nga, Teacher JB, no, dapat ganito yung ginawa ko. So, doon pwede mong ma-practice yung mga reflective parenting. A lot of times, I don't offer direct advice. I'll just tell the parent, okay, what could have been a better choice? Kasi wala namang right or wrong. Nobody will tell you you're wrong. But I always ask the parents, what's a better choice? Then mapapaisip sila. Yon. Kasi tayo, we are teachers, as child professionals, we need to provide that guidance.
Yeah.
And i-highlight ko lang yung word, active listening. Kasi that's a skill that's so, it's so easy to understand when you read it in the books, but that's so hard to do.
Yes, okay. So, ayan sa ating teachers and actually sa mga parents din na nanonood, ang laking bagay na nagko-collaborate kasi ayun, di sinasabi nga ni Teacher JB na nakakatulong ito sa mga magulang at kapag natulungan natin ang mga magulang at natulungan ng magulang ang kanilang mga sarili, syempre trickle down na yan pati na rin sa mga bata at sa buong pamilya. Ayan, so yes, Teacher JB.
Yes. Agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Akala ko may sasabihin ka. Sorry. Okay, so dahil medyo tight na rin yung oras natin, last question na lang, Teacher JB. Bakit ba kailangan natin tugunan ang issue ng parental stress? Why is there a need for this right now?
Kasi naniniwala po ako sa concept ng emotional contagion. However the parent conducts himself or herself, napaproject yan sa bata. Kung kalma at masaya si mommy, kalmado at masaya ang mga bata. It's easy to say that. That's why I always require the parents to be consistent. Consistency is the key. Kung hindi po tayo consistent sa ating mga pamamaraan or how we relate to our children, then mahihirapan po tayo mag-change at mag-maintain ng behavior.
So, thank you, Teacher JB, sa lahat ng mga na-share mo ngayong araw. I'm sure magagamit yan ng ating lahat, ng ating mga viewers. Any na lang po, parting message for all of our viewers na nanonood sa atin ngayon bago po tayo mag-end ng ating session?
I always tell parents na wala namang librong magsasabi sa atin how to be that perfect or to be a good parent. But we can always make better choices based on our reflections and learning. So I hope that parents reflect on their parenting practices and make better choices every day. That's it.
Ayan, thank you, Teacher JB. So, sana po marami tayong natutunan, marami tayong learnings na may apply sa ating everyday lives. And hopefully, sa lahat ng mga nag-i-implement ng CBPAB sa kani-kanilang localities, ay magamit natin yung mga shinare ni Teacher JB. Okay, so thank you, Teacher JB, for joining us today. We hope to see you again next time in our other sessions. Thank you po.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye po. Okay. So, at dito na po nagtatapos ang ating Facebook Live session ngayong araw. Kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa ating panauhin na si Sir JB Bernal at Teacher JB Bernal. Muli, ito po si Dana Ong. Stay safe and thank you all for watching.